Hello, everyone. Welcome to the North Andover Festival Committee meeting of November 24th, 2020. I have to read a statement here. Let me get through this first. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, subsection 18, and the governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing a strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the North Andover Cable Advisory Committee may be conducted via remote participation by some or all committee members and staff. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with the right and or requirements to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.northandoverma.gov. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to hear the meeting may do so on their televisions by tuning to Comcast Channel 99 and Verizon Channel 28 or online at www.northandovercam.org, all one word, North Andover Cam. No in-person attendance of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post the Town of North Andover website audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible. Okay. So what I'd like to do first is I think if everybody will introduce themselves, I think that would be good. We'll start with you, Jimmy.
Okay, I'm Jim Fazio.
And I'm doing it in this particular order because of the way the windows are appearing. I assume it's going to be like that where everybody's viewing. Next will be Brian.
Brian Frazier, Executive Director of North Andover CAM.
Ashley.
Hello, Ashley Valancourt, Board Member for the Festival Committee.
Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom Duggan. I'm a new member of the committee. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, everyone at home.
Welcome, Tom. We appreciate you being part of this. Thank you. Bill. You put up your there you go. EJ.
EJ Folds, North Andover Police Department.
And next we have a phone call in, but I'm not sure if it doesn't tell me who it is here. So, oh, it's the one ending in 1-2. So it's Rob Leonard.
Rob Leonard, yes, I'm here, Jeff.
Okay, Neil.
Neil Hamill, co-chair of the Festival Committee.
Thank you, Neil. And next we have the phone number ending in 83.
That's Bill Murphy.
Okay. How you doing, Bill? Glad to have you on board. Okay. Next we have here 978 and ending in 68.
It's Connor.
Hey, Connor. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Then we have Kathleen.
Kathleen Varga, member of the Festival Committee.
And Judy.
Hi, Judy Negrelli, member of the Festival Committee.
And I think I got everybody. Not 100% sure, but that's who's showing here on my screen. So, how's everybody doing? Number one, hope everybody's faring well under the circumstances. Glad to be meeting with everybody. We have suspended all of our events that we typically do for the season under the traditional way we do them. But we've had some proposals made for the committee, and I'd like to go over those. You all have your agendas, I assume. The first thing I'd like to discuss is the tree lighting on the common. Okay, Neil and I went out 2 different occasions to inspect the condition of the lights on the common. Apparently, the DPW also went out there at one point in between, inspected them, and realized that the tree has to be completely stripped. A lot of the wires are bare on the tree. I'm not sure if equipment got tangled in them because the wires are stripped sideways on them. Uh, Ultimately, they have to be replaced. Uh, we had talked to Rosemary Smedili, who contacted me, and Selectman Smedili said that a donation was made to the town in the amount of $750 by China Blossom for town festivities. She said she would apply some of that money to some wreath and a memorial wreath or something along those lines for the Lee family, etc. But over and above that, she said we could be entitled to some of the money if necessary. I told her that I went out and scrambled, as we've done in the past, to try and purchase the lights. There's a shortage this year because of COVID. The supply chain from China is down. So finding lights is extremely hard this year, but we got lucky. We ended up getting 1,500 lights, or is it 16? 16, Neil, right?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, 1,600 lights. So we're good to go from that perspective. We spent $640 out of the festival committee money on that. But Selectman Neely said that there shouldn't be a problem reimbursing us for that expenditure. She first wanted, out of respect, to clear that with folks at China Blossom, just to inform them that that's one of the things that they'd like to do with the money. And that hopefully will at least take care of the tree. The other issue we have with the tree itself, and I've spoken with Brian Fraser down at Brian Fraser. Looking at Brian here. I've spoken with John Lavin down at DPW, and manpower issue is the big thing that we're dealing with right now, and that presents a problem. So they were looking at possible contractual services to see if they could get somebody in to strip the tree and hang the lights. John Lavin said typically it's a 2 to 3 day process, because what they do is they tie wrap the lights to the branches of the tree. Each tie wrap has to individually be cut off, then the lights removed, etc., etc. So it's a time-consuming process. We also talked about possibly using the contractual services of the same company that does the Stevens Coolidge lighting. Last year, we got a quote from them. DPW requested that I forward last year's quote to them, which I did, so they could get an idea of ballpark of what the cost was. And I believe, off the top of my head, don't hold me to these exact figures, but I think it was around $4,000 to do the main tree. And that would be, they would come in. It didn't say anything about stripping, but obviously I think they would have looked at that because the lights were on it when they did their quote for us. Strip the tree, install the lights in a spiral fashion, quote unquote, versus draping them top to bottom, and then coming in after the holidays and removing the lights. So basically, we are renting them for that amount of money. Now, to do the additional 4 trees surrounding the Christmas tree on the common with the white lights wrapped in a spiral fashion as well, I believe the quote was close to about $5,000 more, something along those lines. But I think Brian, you actually have a copy of that. I think I sent you that, didn't I?
Yeah, I just called it up. So quote A, focal tree, you know, $3,600, call it 4,000, because this is a year ago quote you said,
Right.
right? The quote B, 4 large trees to be lit warm lights in an exterior spiral fashion was $6,700. And quote C, 15 light poles around the common was the $4,300.
Right. That last part was something that the Women's Club had proposed to have illuminated wreaths around the common versus the wreaths that Rosemary normally puts up. They would have lights on them as well. They would come in with their own pole, use our existing brackets, and put up the wreath with the placard on it, the memorial placard or the identifying placard. So, I mean, that basically was just an added that they wanted to know. But that gives you an idea of the cost if we use a service such as that. So it is kind of pricey, and it is just a rental. We're not actually owning the lights. They'll come in and remove them after the fact. So that's one thing to consider. Now, is it possible? John Longevan told me that he had spoken with Neil. Maybe you can help me out here. Who came in and was it Mayor who hung the lights last time? You're on mute, Neil.
Yes, it was me.
Right. So he contacted Mayor Tree Service again, and apparently they are booked solid from now until January. So trying to get them in. There are other tree services out there. I'm not sure what and how the DPW has been pursuing this, but we'll find out. And I know our town manager has also been involved in this. She had contacted the DPW director to try and get some guidance, and I'm not sure what has transpired along those lines, but hopefully something's moving in the right direction here. So that's basically where we stand right now. There's also some potential funding that we may be able to get from another source, two other sources that we have that potentially can help us out. One is Pentucket Bank has agreed to give us a donation. We do not have it yet, and I believe the amount on that will be $2,500
That's right.
that we can put towards the lights. And Brian Frazier also. Brian, you might want to.
Yeah. So North Andover CAM, we're with COVID, we have some funding that's freed up that I'm going to try to put through my board and see if they're willing to donate the budget from stuff that we didn't use because of COVID. We can hopefully shift it toward you guys so that we can have festivities, and it kind of ties into our mission a little bit. The way Jeff was explaining it to me, I'm going to mute some of these guys that are squirreling around here. Hold on. If we do the tree lighting, there's not going to be a gathering, so it will be basically a big televised event. That's going to stay in line with our mission that we're doing a big broadcast through the cable system and providing the service to the town. So from that perspective, it's still in line with our mission. It's funds that we're going to be budgeted for other uses, whether it's for the meeting coverage that we usually have contractors, we have to pay contractors for. We didn't have to do that for 75% of this year, so that should just trying to figure out how to put that money to good use right back into the community. And so far seems like a positive feedback from our organization. So it still has to get approved by our board, but it's something that we seem to be willing to do. We'd have to see solid quotes, so we can approve the right number.
So just so we're all aware, everything we've heard to date is all potential. Nothing has been approved. We have nothing in hand other than the expenditures we've already made, which isn't dramatic, but just making everybody aware of that. Obviously things can change, but hopefully everything will come through and we'll be able to accomplish these goals and tasks. So that's basically where we stand there. Now, like Brian just touched on, we're talking about doing a virtual broadcast event for the tree lighting. what I had proposed, talking to the town manager about this, and Brian and Neil and myself talked about it, just throwing some ideas around. What we could do basically is either do some remote broadcast that Brian can do ahead of time. Brian talked about maybe having choral groups, things like that, where they could either be filmed at cam on a green screen, or he can take past event performers and bring those in as well to make the event at least seem full for the public. So that way, I mean, basically it's a review, but and we could potentially have some new talent in there that's being proposed and worked on. There's a choral group who's willing to come sing a couple of songs. I thought basically what we could do for the live broadcast there, we're not going to advertise it, although we basically are right now. But we're going to just request everybody not show up on the common, because we're not going to have our traditional event like we normally do. We hope to get that back as soon as possible, as soon as everything permits from a safety standpoint, to return to our former glory. I think that would be wonderful. But I thought if we just had maybe some of the selectmen there, maybe our town manager, a couple of festival committee members, everybody socially distanced, staying apart. And I thought maybe we could all just introduce ourselves and say Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whatever anybody feels is appropriate, and then do a quick like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, illuminate the tree, and everybody say Merry Christmas, and then Brian can disperse that with all of the entertainment, so to speak. I don't know how that sounds to everybody. If anybody has any opinions on that or thinks that there's better ways of doing it, it's just an idea right now, but something we'll have to work on pretty quick.
And if you do go in that direction with the televised broadcast, we can do it live, but what we've also done, and you guys might want to consider, so for Memorial Day services and Veterans Day services, we pre-produced the whole event and then released it on the day that they usually do it. So that will keep the public from showing up spontaneously too.
Understood. That makes sense.
That's a
Yeah.
town decision.
I agree with Brian. I think that's going to work out better, because if they know the tree lighting's happening on December 5th at a certain time, people are still going to show up.
Exactly.
So
Well, we're
if we
not
do
going
it,
down.
pre-record it, and then say, watch the tree lighting on NACAM, these stations at such and such a time on December 5th. People can tune in and watch it. It's already done.
Absolutely. I think that's wise. Good idea. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, I think that's probably the way to proceed. And typically, to be honest with you, as you probably know, EJ, because of the calls, Connor and I are out there many times adjusting the lights, checking things. We're flipping them on and off well before our official tree lighting, and so nobody really would be the wiser when we're officially doing it from that standpoint. And we're not going to advertise it at all. So that's one thing. Okay, so I touched on the limited site participation, the public notification, and not the Andover Cam will be the one facilitating the event, broadcasting it, et cetera, et cetera.
Is Santa planning on being there?
I'm sorry?
Is Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus planning on being there?
That's a good question. We
the tree.
don't know. Once again, that's something Brian could intersperse. I don't know if they're going to Neil might have a better handle on the status of Santa Claus, where he's going to be at that time, because Santa Claus is getting busy this time of the year. And I don't know.
If you want Santa Claus to be there, Santa Claus will be there along with Mrs. Claus. I already talked to Joe.
Okay.
Joe just to know what we're doing and what his plan is, so he can put it down in his book.
So Joe is just so everybody knows, Joe is our liaison between us and Santa Claus. He has a direct line to Santa Claus. So okay, so very good. Okay, anything else on the tree lighting on the common? Any suggestions? Any recommendations?
Jeff,
One thing.
Jeff, I got
Yeah.
one question.
Go ahead.
So what are we doing with those couple other trees there with the clear lights? We haven't really tested those.
That's just it. Again, judging by, because I took the ladder out there and literally had to climb the tree to plug them in. I
Right.
didn't go around to the white light trees, the full white light trees, with the ladder up there. But it's my understanding from what John Lavin said, because Ron, who is our tree expert, I guess, in town, went out and looked at them and said they all, quote unquote, have to be replaced. So
Okay.
I didn't plug them in. I don't know. As Connor can tell you, those are on separate circuits. There is one tree, one white tree, one of the ancillary trees, if you will, is tied in with our main Christmas tree. So when that goes on, it goes on at the same time. The other three trees are independent circuits. So we could go out there and test those and see what's what, but we'll have to get out there with a decent ladder to get up there, plug them in, and to see what the condition is. Because they were replaced last year. Again, still wasn't our Christmas tree. So, from that, I don't really know what to say. Another thing that's had a suggestion that had come in was this. And I don't know how all of you feel about this, but I'm going to throw it out there.
Sorry.
That we decorate the stone bridge with some lights this year. We do have the power there. It's very easy. And we could hang wreaths on each side of the columns. So we'd have 8 wreaths, one on each corner of the columns, and have it a memorial to those who have passed from COVID. I think it's kind of nice in a way. I don't want it to be a downer for the season. I'm looking at this from 2 sides. I thought it was kind of a nice tribute. People wanted to hang stars on it with the names of people that could do that independently on their own. These have just been suggestions that have come my way, and I thought I'd put it out to the committee to see how everybody feels about it. Anybody have an idea?
Yeah.
I think the bridge would look really cool lit up. I mean, it's like a main point on the common.
Mhm.
So I always thought that would look pretty cool lit up. Concern, obviously, with what I do is susceptibility to vandalism. It's right there, and I know that
It
the
always-
trees are there too, but
Yeah, I
the
hear
bridge
you.
is just a better target.
I hear you. I hear you.
But I love the idea behind it, and I don't want to call it the COVID bridge because that's weird, but
No, I know what you're saying.
I think it is a nice tribute and kind of a thing. It recognizes 2020 for what it is.
Exactly. And hopefully people would respect that, and as I said, I was of 2 minds. One minute, I think it's nice to pay homage to, what has happened. And over and above, I don't want it to seem like we're casting a downward spirit on a joyful season when we're trying to bring some light and joy to a very dull, bad situation we've dealt with here. That's why I'm 2 minds on the situation. And from a cost outlay, it would be negligible to illuminate that. It's no big deal for that. And the wreaths are another thing. And I don't know if that would assist Rosemary in any way, shape, or form, because she's having an issue, I guess, with the people not being able to accommodate everybody who'd like to buy a wreath. And that may be one way to help her out there as well. Or the festival committee could actually purchase the wreaths, whatever. But I thought where we have 2 exterior sides of each of the 4 columns that are there, if we put a wreath on each one of those would be nice, and lights. So
Well, if you think about the bridge, it gets you from one side to another. If we think of going from 2020 and what COVID kind of did and leaping to the future, we could kind of put a positive spin on it. We don't have to call it the COVID bridge, but kind of like the hope, the future, moving forward. We could kind of remember what's happened, but kind of put it in a positive spin.
interesting. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody think it's a bad idea?
No.
Jeff,
Good.
Bill Dolan, I feel like EJ, I don't know how well lit that area is, and I'd be worried about vandalism. I was wondering if you could close the sides of the bridge and almost make it like a well so that people could put whatever their remembrances into it, rather than try to tie things onto a wreath or something else. It could almost
That's a good idea.
put two sides and a screen on the top so people could dump the
There's
names into
nothing, there's nothing to prohibit us from putting snow fencing up around it. Have DPW just enclose that area. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just enough that almost like we do with the beer tent, where you have like a 6 foot, which we kind of interesting to say 6 feet, but that's basically if we had a square around it like that. Does that sound?
That's not going to stop vandalism, I don't think, right?
No, but nothing will. I mean, even with the Christmas tree, we've had that happen before, where people have gone over the kids. Although last year, I could honestly say we didn't have really a lot of issues with vandalism last year with the main tree. Other years we have. Hopefully, most of the kids in our town have enough brains now to know that we've been through a lot, and it's kind of nice. I see our police department smiling, but
How have they handled the flags that they do every year for Memorial Day? Has there been any vandalism at all? I would hope to God not, but
I don't believe so. I think I would have heard something
yeah,
had that been the case.
yeah.
I don't believe so. I don't think anything was. But then again, you have to understand that there are about 40 spotlights out there on the flags.
Yeah.
So somebody to sneak out there and do something, they have to be
We
pretty
borrow a
brazen.
spotlight?
That's an idea to put spot floodlights on the bridge.
Well, it is going to be
I mean,
but it is going to be illuminated by the lights we have on it. So
yeah, but if you put floodlights, it's bright, you know what I mean? To keep people away from there, you can see people there.
we could do that. I mean, it's all doable. It's all doable. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's yes.
How about like a tripod type deal over by the flagpole, and then we have the light tower. We can always set the light tower up and leave it there, and leave it at night.
Yeah, but that's going to be
But that's
that-
noisy.
that's tough for the season. For a 1 day event type of thing, it's doable.
Oh,
For the
okay,
season,
okay.
it's going to be too taxing on the
Yeah.
light tower, on the bulbs on it, and the fuel, etc. Refueling it's going to be an issue. And not to mention it's going to be kind of blinding. It's going to take away from, how it is. We fire up the light tower up there for our event. When we do the tree lighting, it literally floods the whole common with light, and then we kill it when we light the lights.
But I know down by the flagpole, there's lights there.
Yeah, there are. Something else to think about. But then again, that's like a memorial area there too. So I don't know. It just
No,
think
I think if you put enough lights on the bridge, it's going to illuminate the area. And as long as it's lit up during darkness, during the
Yeah.
daytime, we don't have to worry that much. It's the nighttime hours. If the lights come on when it gets dark, and then I don't know if they're on timers or what, or if they just stay on all the time, then that should help. I'd rather not see the snow fencing all around it.
Yeah.
If you're going to use something a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than snow fencing.
Yeah.
And
But to be
you
honest
know,
with you, what I was thinking of what I was thinking of was the old-fashioned snow fencing, not the yellow or the orange. But then again, picket fence, something like that, or I don't know. I don't know what would work, or will we just rope it off? Would that be enough?
Well, that's it. It's like, how much is that? Is it going to take away from the lighting part of it, where you're on the street driving by, you see it, and
Exactly. I don't know.
Like
or do we just have faith in our human men and women in town, and hopefully that we make it through the season?
And not to mention, we could put a couple of trail cams up, like
Yeah.
like we've done before.
Jeff, instead of using snow fencing, could you just use the strings of light to make the fence? Strings of light.
Possible.
I'm just talking about the in between the two.
Yes, I
actual-
understand, to keep people out of the central area.
Right.
Yeah, that's possible.
Right there.
Yeah, why not? We could do something. We could even put a stand there with pound of steak in with a wreath on there as well, or something on each end. I mean, there's a lot of potential that you could do. So there's ways around that. Then you could run the lights to that point, Bill, and that. So there's a lot of creative things we can do to accomplish that, and relatively easy because we're not climbing 50 feet up a tree. It's no higher than 6 feet at the highest point on that. It's all doable, all doable. So, okay, very good. Okay, anything else on the comment?
Before we move on, are we going to be doing the menorah this year?
We don't do the menorah. I think that the temple does the menorah out of Andover. It's not something that we obviously, they go for permission for the board for use of the common every year. I assume that they're going to do it for Hanukkah traditionally as they normally do, but we don't have any input or any say in that.
Okay. Hey, look, that's a pretty thing to put up in the common.
Yeah. Okay. So
if we're talking about the tree lighting still, and if you're handling schedule later, that's fine. But so since nothing's been planned, where we're assuming like tree lighting usually happens the week after Thanksgiving, you know, so do we have a ballpark on timeline? Or are you going to talk about that later?
The issue is this, Brian. Obviously, from a logical standpoint, the lights have to be on the tree before we can have a tree lighting.
Yeah.
That's
quotes
going
and
to
all that
be,
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Right. That's going to be what actually dictates how quickly we can accomplish any tasks we want to do. So as soon as I hear back from either our town manager, DPW, whomever is going to be in charge of trying to coordinate this effort, who's ever facilitating it, once we get to that point, then we'll have a much better handle. And I'm sure that our folks down at DPW must be still putting out the feelers there, trying to get somebody who can come in and say, okay, yeah, no, we can handle this, we can do it, or here's a definitive date that this can be accomplished. I think if that had transpired, I think we would have heard about it, but I don't think that's happened as of yet. So that's the issue.
So are there two scenarios running still, or is it just the rental? We're just trying to figure out if all the rentals are going to fall into place, or the possible purchases, and the DPW is going to do the labor. Is that, or
well,
am I just?
I can tell you this: we, the festival committee, made the purchase of the lights, so we have them. Okay, regardless of whether they're installed on the tree or not. Initially, we do have them in our possession, so at least that can be accomplished one way or the other. It was requested by the DPW to look at the quote that we got from the company, the professional lighting company, to ballpark that. I'm not sure why and what their plans were. All I know is that they requested a copy, which I furnished them. Over and above that, I can't give you any more guidance. So I'm looking at this like we have a backup plan, so to speak, that if worse comes to worse, we can somehow accomplish this to get the lights on the tree one way or another, whether it's we've got to rent a bucket truck or something. I don't know what, but we'll make this happen one way or the other. And our town manager assured us that she was going to really push this issue to get this accomplished.
So if I'm going to go to my board for requests, we can't request numbers until we have them. But if I'm educating the board at this point, it's potentially for rental or purchase or other support for the event. Is there three variables here?
Right. Well, basically, what was discussed, as I said earlier, was lighting of the main tree. If we want to, and it had been suggested that it's going to look a little bare, a little barren, not as festive if we don't light the surrounding trees as we traditionally have, that hasn't even been discussed. and you saw the price of a quote to do that. You have that in front of you. So one way or the other, this is going to have to come into being, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, it's good to know we have the potential funding there, Brian. That I'd be really panicked if we had no funding source at all from all of the entities above. But we do, so we at least have the ability to accomplish it, provided we have the means to accomplish it.
Gotcha. So we're also in a waiting pattern.
Right.
Okay.
We're waiting to hear.
Yep.
Now, traditionally we light the tree the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and we have the parade on Saturday. We light the tree on Sunday, but even Boston usually lights theirs like the week after ours or during that week. So, given the circumstances of COVID and everything else, I don't think it would be too detrimental if we had to push it off for a week or so. We've done that before. I think last year, did we push it off a week? What happened there? Neil's nodding his head yes.
Triple E, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not the end of the world, providing it's up for the season, and we're able to accomplish what we want to do, given the circumstances.
Last year we did it around December 5th. Was
Yeah,
the
okay.
following week.
Okay, so
We had that snowstorm, so that's when that was.
that's right.
Oh.
That's right. Yeah, and then we actually had snow on the day, if you remember. Came out really nice. Anyway,
Jeff,
that's where we
question.
stand with that.
Jeff,
Yes,
on the quote, you have the quote, it's from last year, right?
correct.
So, and you also said a lot of the companies are busy. Is somebody checking to see if that company's available, and are we getting a new quote?
What I was told was by DPW is that they wanted the quote to review and to know the point of contact and the phone number on there. And then what's happened from that point on out, I don't really know. But that may be, I'm sure we'll hear one or the other. Ashley, you're still on the tried to run a blank on it.
The Coolidge thing.
Yeah, the Steve, but what is the group that I can't think of the name of it? That
Stephen Coolidge House?
trustees of the reservation.
Yeah, for lighting, talking about for
Yeah.
lighting.
Yeah.
I don't know, they switched companies this year, and I think, and they're changing their whole plan because they're doing a festival of trees, and I think they're doing, I think they're outsourcing some of it and doing a lot of it in-house, but I haven't spoken to them about that yet, but I think they changed it up. It's different from previous years.
So, based on what Ashley just said, it may be interesting that that professional lighting company may have a little more free time on their hands than they have in the past, because normally they're doing 3 locations, Ashley. They're doing
Correct.
North Andover, they're doing one on the Cape, and they do, where's the third one? Is it
No, it's down south. I forget where it is. It's like towards Rhode Island.
yeah, but there are 3 trustees
Yeah.
of the reservation locations that they do
Mhm.
these lighting displays, and one happens to be North Andover. So
Yeah.
if they're changing their pattern up, the company may have some free time. I don't know.
Mhm. We can ask.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yes.
have we heard anything more from Shania regarding what's going on with her? Have you heard any more from her regarding Pawtucket Bank and what's happening there as far as fundraising?
She sent me a text earlier, not long before the meeting, and I can read to you what she actually said here.
I know you haven't, because she sent me the same thing, but I haven't opened it up.
Yeah. She said, "We'll try my best to attend the Zoom meeting. If not, if I can't make it, please go ahead. We'll touch base. Something urgent to take care of here." But apparently, what she said was that she spoke with Pawtucket Bank, and they are willing to help us out for that amount of money. And so, hopefully, everything will be good to go from that perspective. So,
sounds good.
Anything else for the common? I think we touched on the decorating and the actual tree lighting, so we're good to go on that. Okay, next on our agenda is the proposed Santa rides through the neighborhood. And what had been brought up, Neil has been trying to accomplish this for about 4 years now. If you all remember that he's brought this up several times. And our town manager got the idea as well, and she heard that we were trying to accomplish this, so contacted our fire chief. And now that we have a spare or reserve apparatus that we could potentially use to accomplish this, where before we'd actually have to take an in-service apparatus and have it out there, which basically creates an issue and a potential safety issue that if it's out in a neighborhood and they get a call, they're gonna have to go back, et cetera, and causes a delay in time. But now that we have a spare apparatus, it has been proposed that we have a neighborhood ride through with Santa, public safety. So a lot of communities do this. Some of you may have seen this before in other communities. I think Haverhill just did this a few days ago. I didn't realize that Haverhill, does Haverhill traditionally do that, EJ, or is that something new?
No, this is the first time because no parade, et
No
cetera.
parade,
They're the same boat we're in. Trying to
hear
do
you.
something for the holidays and all the regular stuff is just put on the back burner.
Exactly. Okay, so anyway, it's been proposed that we do this, but we have to decide on a date of the event. Our town manager had made a recommendation. We do it the weekend before Christmas. Thought maybe that would be a good time to do it. Time of the event, I think that she said, what, 2 to 4 on 2 days to do it. I believe I may have the times wrong on that, but she did send an email. I'm sorry.
We're going to do our Santa Collins show on the 18th, so we could promote it during that night.
Good. Okay. We'd like to come up with a route. Figure, obviously, we can't hit every street in town, but we can hit neighborhoods, the main streets and neighborhoods. We thought maybe EJ would be the one to maybe give us some guidance on thinking of what the best routes would be to accomplish that. We could split it up. I don't know if you want to say uptown and downtown and do it on those 2 different days. And you could put a little thought into that. All of us can, whoever has an idea, think of the best way to do that.
Yeah, Jeff, I have a question regarding what you just said, uptown, downtown, and the routes and stuff like that. When it comes to snow emergencies and salting and everything else, I know the DPW has their special routes to all the main roads and stuff like that. I don't know if you want to look at that and see if that's going to work. I mean, maybe EJ might want to look at that and see if that's going to work.
Yeah, well, obviously we want to incorporate the main roads, not the state highways, but your Salem Street, your Main Street, your Mass Ave, Johnson, et cetera.
Yeah.
Great Pond Road, you're gonna get a big turnout if you go up and down Great Pond Road? No. Okay, so maybe especially downtown, you have to identify neighborhoods.
Right.
Like around the library neighborhood, down around, the mills, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I think those are gonna be a little bit more time consuming, working your way through those neighborhoods. So it's mapping it out, which I'd feel more comfortable sitting down with like a Billy McCarthy also. I mean, I know the fire trucks can get anywhere, but we want to maximize the neighborhoods with the amount of time we have. And I don't know if we only have 2 hours, which I think it might be noon to 4, but it could be 2 to 4.
You might be right on that. I don't recall, and unfortunately, I can't bring it up on the computer right now.
Are we strict the time?
What's up, Tom? What do you got?
I just had a question. Could you, in order to get the maximum coverage, could you overlay the school's bus routes and see where the most density is to see what makes the most sense? So that if you have a lot of kids in a certain area of town, you could kind of overlay the bus routes to see how to direct the engine or the trucks to get the most coverage.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
What do you think?
and we're gonna be very concentrated down Woodridge Homes, Royal Crest, out Oak Ridge Village, all those, just because they're large complexes.
Right.
Not really, they're not easy to navigate through. So that would be the problem with the bus routes, but it's going to give us an idea as to where most of the kids are. Although buses today now, they stop every 10 feet to pick up a kid.
Yeah.
It's not like the old term bus routes, but it's something we'll look at that and figure out how to break it up by sectors. I can break out our map at work and kind of circle areas.
There you go.
Figure out. I think I remember how to patrol all those areas, how long it takes.
Very good.
I mean, you have all down
I
road,
knew you would have been
Waverly Road that way.
I'm sorry, Neil. I walked on you. Say again.
I look like downtown Grogan's Field all around through that way.
Yeah.
Out to Waverly Road that way there.
Well, I think our highest density concentration is the downtown area around, right? That's where we're gonna really see the most amount of people. Now, the other thing was requested public safety participants, police, fire, anybody else should be included. I think if you have a cruiser out in front of the fire truck and maybe one behind it, or should Santa be the final behind and a couple of cruisers out front? Any other departments? Should the DPW be in there with the yellow light on, or just suggestions I'm making? The other thing that I had suggested was that we could have emergency management out there, car 20, sort of be like an advanced vehicle, if you will, just to be, I don't know, if 1 minute out, 2 minutes out ahead of the route. So we could kind of alert the neighborhood that this caravan is coming with Santa. What do you think of that? Do you think that's a good idea or a bad idea?
No, I like that. You should have an advanced vehicle just to kind of give the people a heads up that, yes,
Yeah.
Santa's coming, so they're not waiting. If it's cold out, they're not waiting out
Right.
there. And we're gonna have to we'll have to publicize the route too, once we come up with it. But yeah, put car 20 out in front. If you want to be the advanced vehicle, I think a cruiser in front and in the rear for safety.
Right.
We see how it is at the parades, and we're probably going to be moving a little bit faster than a parade route.
Exactly. And I'm glad you said that, EJ, because that's a concern. People had said, oh, well, we could put a chair up there. We could do this. We could do that. I said, no, you have to understand. When we're in a parade, we're going 5 miles an hour down a controlled route. Now you're going to be in public traffic. And you have to approach this a little differently than you do
on the sidewalk
when we're in a parade route. Exactly. So how much
to go through all the schools? Would it make sense to just make that part of our route? Like, if, for example, like if you weren't coming to my street, would it make sense for me to go to where's my district? I don't know, Franklin, I guess, or any school. I don't know. I mean, just
the concern with schools and any large area is that we're trying to prohibit or prevent large gatherings. We want people, if people want to sit on the side of the road in their car and wave to Santa, that's fine. Come out to their driveway and their own personal property. That's why we're doing it the way we're doing it. I don't want there to be like everybody knows, go stand down at Stashi's because we know the truck is going to be going by there. The whole idea, obviously, is to minimize the effects and have everybody social distance. So that's the concern there. That's why the approach is good, going through the neighborhoods. People come out in their front lawns. Family units can all be together. No big deal there. People who want a closer look, because they can come on the sides of the roads if they know the route with their vehicle, stand outside their vehicle. That's all fine. My only concern is I don't want to call out specific areas where people are going to mass. I don't want that to happen. So
Are we gonna do a reverse 911 to let people know?
A citizen's notification, yeah, we can do that. We're probably going to publicize the route through CAM. We'll do it through the town website. We'll have all of that out there so we can get all of that squared away so people are aware. But we just don't want to create a parade atmosphere. We want it to be that
Right.
Santa is coming to your neighborhood. Don't come to Santa like we do normally with the parade. That's my only concern. We don't want to have something good turn out to be something bad. That's all there is.
Right.
From concern.
So my next question is going to be regarding this. What dates are we looking at so that I can let Santa know?
Good question. As I said, it was recommended that we do it the weekend before Christmas. That sounded good to me because it gives everybody enough time to get the maps done. It's a hectic season as it is. EJ has to do some homework. There's a lot that has to come together behind the scenes here, so to speak. And I don't want anybody to feel that there's a lot of constraint and pressure to have to put. I mean, obviously, we're all putting extra effort, and we always do. But I'm sorry.
One day, or going to be 2 days? 1 day?
2 days. It's recommended that we do 2 days and maybe 4 hours each day, I think is what I recall. It might have been like 12 to 4, something like that. Or I said
Yeah,
2 to 4.
like that. That's fine.
12 to 4. Give it 4 hours. So it'd be like an 8-hour total, but split it up however it seemed to be appropriate to do.
So it's December 19th and 20th.
Yeah.
19th, 20th. Is that what you want to
Yes,
do?
that's the weekend before Christmas.
Yep.
Okay, I'll call him tomorrow.
Good.
So if we do some kind of live, Facebook live type of thing on the car,
Right.
we'll still do the 2-day event.
Yes. Well, that's up to you, really, because you're broadcasting it. I'm not sure how you're going to be. You said to me at one point, and I don't know if this still holds, that you'd actually like to be on the apparatus itself, the front of the apparatus, while Santa's in the back, so you could shoot Santa and maybe get some street scenes as well, I assume. I don't know if that still holds true.
Yeah. If we could get a camera up on top, well, more so like a streaming device, it's probably gonna, we have no Wi-Fi all the way through, so it would have to
Right.
be like a 5G phone or an unlimited phone or something like that, and then we can stream it to Facebook or YouTube probably because it's a little bit more stable, and then we can actually turn around YouTube and put it out on the air so that people at home on the TVs can watch it too. So I just didn't know if doing that alleviated doing the 2 days, or you think 2 days is going to be what it takes to handle all those routes, or it's
I
still
think so. Yeah.
TBD.
You have to understand how large our community is and how many miles of road we have. We can't possibly go down every road, but just hitting the main roads, and obviously like 125, 114, we wouldn't necessarily be doing those. But a lot of the streets out country, a lot of the streets downtown, you have the density issue downtown, and you have the distance issue out country.
Right. What the Easter Bunny went through Andover, and did it go through? I think you said North Andover too, right? Was there a route that we know about that, and how long that took?
I remember it went down Andover Street, I think. Went Osgood Street to Andover Street, and that's the portion that I happen to just glance on. I'm not sure the total route that the Easter Bunny went, but
somebody must know that, though. We can track that down.
I'm sure.
I think it was through North Andover Moms. They were posting it. It was just like a nice couple that like decorated their car and drove through the neighborhoods, and they polled people on the event page on Facebook, like what neighborhoods do you want, or like request a neighborhood, and then they just like mapped it that way. So I know that there is a list. We could probably look up, I'll try to do it now, but look up the Facebook event and see, because they listed out the streets they were going to. And I think it was over 2 days. It wasn't a 1-day thing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
But they didn't have like support from the town. It was like someone driving with their normal everyday car.
Right, they had a
So,
convertible. I remember it was a convertible. I just
Yeah.
happened to run into the parade, so to speak.
yeah, I mean, it was nice, but like it wasn't as official or formal
No.
as this.
Very good. Okay, so the other thing that I put down on the list here, the last item on this particular topic was other participants. Anybody else should be included, not included? Are we good to go? You think, obviously, I like the idea of this being a public safety event, particularly with the police and fire department. You know, it's a measure of goodwill. It puts our police and fire department in a good light. You know, we're very fortunate that we have a great police department and a great fire department in our community. We're lucky. We don't have a lot of issues. We don't have a lot of controversy. They do a lot for the community as it is. But I think the measure of goodwill that this generates is even better, especially during the times and circumstances that we're dealing with now. I think it's a nice positive thing to do. And kids love the lights. Kids love to see the red lights. They love to see the blue lights, all the flashing, all the sirens. It's a big attraction.
Jeff, are we going to get any publicity or anything from the Eagle Tribune? Do we have anybody that can do this for us?
Sharon,
I know
Sharon,
that tenant.
yeah, Sharon still has her contacts there. The only issue is that we had Paul Tennant in the past. I believe Paul is gone now from the Tribune. So that was an easy way to do it. Paul was on our mailing list. His address is still there at the Tribune, and they are getting our notices. I don't know if anybody's reading them, but Sharon still knows people there that we can get something out there with. So
Jeff, I'm the PIO for the police department, so I have a couple contacts there.
Good. Excellent. Yeah. Hey, the more resources we put out there, the better it is. The more we can, you know, get it in the calendar, get a little story going. Also, while we're on topic of this parade related, we should probably put something out there officially saying that the parade is canceled. But Santa will be going through the neighborhoods at some point. I'd like to get the wording on it so that we're not just letting everybody down, letting them know that we're doing something this year. Now that we know that this is going to take place. By the way, I did invite the fire chief and the town manager to be in on this meeting, so I thought maybe they might have some input, because I know the fire chief has been talking to me about this, been emailing me back and forth. So everything seems to be on board. I didn't know if he had any suggestions over and above what we've talked about here, but everything seems to be doable. So,
Sounds good.
Anything else along the ride through the neighborhood? Any ideas? Anything? Good? Good. Very good. Then, other proposed holiday events. Our town manager was talking with Laurie in the office there, and they were doing a little brainstorming. And she let me know that one thing that they talked about doing was making children's craft kits and having them out. They're going to put bags out at the youth center and at the library, and now the senior center as well, where they're going to do these craft kits where kids can come by and pick up the bag with the craft kit in it to give them something to do for the holidays. Another thing that was proposed was, and it's already gone out, that Sarah put it out, about the holiday lights, businesses and homes who plan on decorating their homes for the holidays. They can let us know, and they're going to go on a map, and the town is going to do an overlay. So people who want to go out and see all the displays, the private displays and business displays, can do so. just to spread a little holiday cheer that way. I noticed a lot of people are already decorating, and people who traditionally decorate seem to be doing a lot more decorating than they have in the past. So I think people are already getting wind of it. I noticed down the street from my house that it looked like the Stevens Coolidge estate, whatever they're doing down there. The whole neighborhood's glowing from the display down the street. But so that's another thing. And another thing that had been suggested was, in lieu of the parade, something that can be done through CAM and on the town would be have the community submit photos and videos for an online display. Just little Christmas wishes, things along those lines, things they traditionally do, kids doing a little skit or a play, things generated at home that can be incorporated along with family photos. Put all of that in there, and we can have like this montage that's ongoing on CAM and on the town website. And those are things that were proposed by the brainstorming at town hall. And I basically said this: I don't think the festival committee would object to any of that, and we applaud anything they're doing and appreciate all the efforts that they're making, because it's trying circumstances, and we're trying to do the best we can, and at least spread a little cheer one way or the other. And I think everybody's efforts are good. Any opinions, recommendations, thoughts? Nope. Good.
Any place you guys want us to put a camera, if you guys want to back this, well wishes type of thing, or holiday wishes, and the festival committee wants to run with the promotions of it, you guys tell us where to put a camera, and we'll staff the camera, wherever you.
That's interesting. We may be able to do something like that, maybe outside of town hall. That might be the most logical place to have something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a booth, so to speak. I know that up at the Schaffner's trailer, we have our house that we use on the floats. We could take one of those flats, so to speak, and create like a window where you could have the camera on one side of the window and have people come up to the window, and they could be socially distanced that way, and spread their cheer, so to speak, almost like you do, Brian, during the parade, where you're actually grabbing parade participants and
Right.
have them say a little something into the camera.
Yep, absolutely. And it'd be great to get everybody, just anybody that's visiting the post office, just send them over to town hall, and just everybody's perspective, a little bit of happy holidays type of stuff.
Yeah. I think I could put two braces on one of those flats so that they would stand up, so to speak, and have them hinge so they can be folded flat and taken in at the end of the night or whatever.
Remember, you got to sanitize everything, though. Somehow you got to make arrangements to have, if you do some kind of a window, you've got to have some either sanitary wipes available, because
nobody has to touch anything.
What we're thinking is that if we have this display, it would just be a flat panel, so to speak,
An open
and
window.
with an open, it has an opening on it. It has a cross piece in it, but large openings around the side. And you could have like a little railing in front so people don't actually stick their head in it. And then the camera could be behind it, back a respectable distance.
Yeah, nothing a little tape on the ground won't take care of.
Right.
Just don't step past this line.
Kids touch stuff, and you got to be very careful.
Absolutely. No, you're absolutely right.
I had one other suggestion for maybe a passive activity. I know this is Henry, my son.
Hi, Henry.
I just asked him for holiday ideas, and one of the things he had an idea of was maybe a passive, like find the elf or find the knight, if we could do like that type of
Nutcracker.
Or Nutcracker or something like that. Maybe some cutouts that we could rotate around town, or encourage people to put nutcrackers or knights or elves in the windows.
I see. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So just note the locations of wherever they spot these.
Yeah, and even if we had 2 or 3
idea.
of the cutouts, we could even talk to some people who are, if we're gonna do the mapping for the for when Santa comes to town, we could look at some of the options around putting them on bus routes so kids could see them in the morning as they're coming to and from. If there's some residents who would be willing to, just have it tacked up to a tree out front or something like that, that kids could see it as they go by.
We can also tie it in with the merchants too, maybe. I know like EJ, I think your wife does this too with merch, right? So she has like an elf that she brings around to the different businesses in town. And that's always like fun to follow along on social media. But this might be like another like elevated thing we could do to tie in with the merchants and do this like more downtown. Cause I think that's an awesome idea. Good for your son. But also like instead of having to like manage it with like individual people putting it on like their trees and stuff, like doing it with the merchant association might make it a lot easier for us to manage because they can essentially like almost like the small business Saturday bingo, like something like that, where like if there's a nutcracker or something in a store, like they could go in to whatever location and get like a stamp, and then like something cool at the end if you find all the locations.
That's a good idea.
Or
drive people. Go ahead, go.
We've done that at scavenger hunts at like the Big E and other places where as we go through, we get a stamp and we kind of
you go to different places.
You go to different places and things like that.
Now, who would like to run with that?
I don't mind coordinating.
Or you can do it, Tom. It was your idea. We can work together, but
work together. Awesome.
I'm happy to work with other folks, especially anyone. I don't really know anyone at the Merchants Association, but if there's someone there that we can work together with, we're happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I can also talk to Jim Mealy too about if we have like a little elf or something, if they want to rotate it amongst the buses. I think Jim would be up for doing that with the bus company too.
Good.
Something to consider. We did this at National Night Out. Is we hid like a token or a trinket at random booths.
Right.
And it was like a social media campaign, and it was like, go take a picture with this at a booth and then send it to, whatever, Twitter. I forget, we were doing the kids one, Snapchat or something. But, maybe it's like a scavenger hunt where if we're trying to create the festive community engagement, take that tweet that picture back to the town or something like that. So now you get everybody and you can kind of point people to different businesses, and now you're getting the businesses a little bit of exposure too. Maybe it can be something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That might be a great tie-in for the community submitted photos and videos type thing to tie it all together.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah. I love it. I love when it all comes together.
Yeah, there you go. Now, was that Henry's idea?
It was Henry's idea.
Okay.
Generally, most
then I should be. Then I think it should be a picture of Henry's face in every store.
No, he gets enough self-affirmation.
I think we have to sign Henry up for the festival committee.
I know.
That would be cool.
We need his perspective.
Yeah, we do.
That's awesome. That's great. I think that's all good ideas. Excellent. Okay, so Tom and Ashley are going to coordinate on that, I assume. Get that going. And also then what we could do is you can either call Laurie Burzlaff or Melissa Rodriguez and let them know, because they can help tie in with what they were doing about considering the videos to be submitted, etc. So that's all that way. So at least they're aware of what's what. I'll also mention it. But where you two are coordinating it, I think you'll come up with different ideas and better ideas from what I'll be saying. So.
Yeah, Sarah Brush does all the social media for the town, so I'm sure you guys know her. So
Sarah already put out about the lights. She already got that. She sent me an email the other day and said, "Should I run with this?" I said, "Absolutely." About people decorating their homes, etc. So
Jeff.
Yeah.
Jim Fazio, can you hear me?
No.
No. What I want to know is St. Alfio's doing anything? I mean, are they hanging low? What are they doing? Did they do anything for Christmas? Do they have anything going on?
All we do for Christmas is give out 30 meals to the needy through the church. That's what we do. I mean, we couldn't do a feast this year like everybody else couldn't do anything. We had a virtual feast.
Right.
And it worked out really, really well too, by the way. But no, we can't do nothing like everybody else. Nope.
Of course not. A lot of constraints. That's why we're trying to do the best we can. So.
And there'll be no candy handed out as we go through Santa either.
I'm sorry, Neil.
Move too fast.
Candy. There'll be no candy being
Oh
tossed
yes.
out.
No. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. That's definitely out.
You're going to be going too fast anyway.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, it's just the thrill of it. It's just the thrill of it, and I think it would be a nice thing. I had suggested initially, because every time I've seen it done at night in the evening, right after it gets dark.
Yes. We do it during the day here.
Yeah, a lot of other communities do it during the day. Haverhill just did it during the day. Either or is fine with me. You know, some community, I don't know if it's Lynn or somewhere, does an unbelievable display. But then again, they have a lot more public safety vehicles than probably all of ours in the Merrimack Valley combined. But they have a parade that goes on like that, where they go through the neighborhoods, and there's about 15 or 20 different vehicles that they have that are going, and it's just endless, and the sound is almost deafening from all the sirens, etc. But interesting. So it's going to be an interesting thing to do. I'm glad to see that we're able to accomplish it.
Right.
Hopefully there won't be any issues from matter of getting the apparatus. Hopefully the apparatus is up and running. Everything should be good to go. So
I can't wait to see this happen. I've only been waiting for this.
I know you have. Everyone on the committee knows you have. That's awesome. Okay, anything else? Open discussion, as I said, and a great suggestion came up about like find the elk type of thing, or any other suggestions? Obviously, we don't want to make any plates too full so we can accomplish anything, but any tweaking or anything else that anybody can think of?
Nope.
Good.
I'm good.
If that's the case, I'm sorry.
I said I'm good at this time.
Good. So if anybody else has anything else, speak
All right.
now.
So let me. So I'll just kind of chime in, because if you're starting to meet, and you guys usually meet like frivolous bunnies when you start doing your business, the meeting schedule is a little bit tighter because you have to share the airways with other committees and boards. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the chock full nights. So if you guys are thinking about starting to meet every week, you might want to consider Mondays or Wednesdays. They're a lot freer.
Well, while we have everybody here right now, the reason why we traditionally met on Tuesdays because it was the best day for all the parties involved, or the majority of. Is there any input from anybody? Rob, what do you think? You're a little distant, Rob. We can't hear you.
Can't hear him at all.
No.
No.
Rob, can you hear us?
*6 if your phone was muted automatically.
Oh, sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
Now we
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff. Whatever you think is best. Any night of the week is fine. Pick a time, and I'm sure we could get a quorum. Whatever's best.
Does Wednesdays work for the majority of us? EJ?
Wednesdays work great for me.
Good. Well, let's go around. Jimmy, are you good?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ashley?
Yep, except once a month I have Historic Society, so
Right.
once a month might not happen, but other than that.
Okay. When are you going to be meeting next for the Historical Society?
Not until I think second or third week in December.
Okay, so that should work out then, one way or the other.
Yeah.
We should be good. Okay, Tom, you good?
I'm fine with Wednesday, so that'd be great.
Bill? Good. EJ is good. Who's on this side here? 1, 2. Is that Connor? Connor, you there?
So
There we go. Now I am.
Okay.
Before
Good.
before you get down,
Does that work for you?
No, yeah, that's fine. I mean, if we're doing it remotely, it's a lot easier.
I hear you.
before you get down too much down the list. So if you're thinking Wednesdays, tomorrow's available, but you can't because it's you need 2 days. Potentially the second looks like virtual downtown improvement already is taking the slot. We could break some rules and put you on the GovCam channel if that works out. The 9th is already booked on both channels. We typically don't switch channels, but I think you're kind of an advisory board, so it's less critical if we really had to put you in. The 16's wide open and the 23rd's wide open. So Monday.
Well, I think we should meet again next week, only because we have a lot of outstanding issues, in tree lighting, etc.
Right now, Thursday's open opposite. Oh no, that's the school committee meeting. Hold on. So Monday's open and possibly Wednesday.
Could we do like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock? Can we do just an earlier time?
You have a lot more leeway if you do an earlier time.
How does that work for everybody? I know Kathleen, that puts her in a bind. I know normally if Justin was here, Justin's usually commuting from Boston.
I don't
I'm
get
not
in
sure. I'm sorry?
until after 4:30.
After 4:30, yeah.
Yeah, 5 o'clock is the early slot. So
I
like
could make
5 to.
5 for me.
I'm sorry, Kathleen.
I could make 5 work because I've been working from home.
Okay, good.
I can do 5.
Me too.
Okay. You want to do like 5 o'clock on
What
Wednesday?
day?
Next
What
Wednesday,
day?
5 o'clock.
Next Wednesday, 5 o'clock, Brian?
Next Wednesday, 5 o'clock. I'll lobby to put you on the Gov channel, and it should be fine.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'll do my paperwork.
I just know that you guys, get into the thick of it, and you almost want to meet every week at this point in the season. So we may have to like either book them all now or move around a little bit.
Okay, sounds good. So if that's good with everybody, I think we can wrap the meeting. Unless anybody else has any input.
I'm all set.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you all for getting on board. Good to see everybody. Please, everybody stay safe and healthy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody.
You
All of
too.
you.
All of you.
Somebody
Take
make a motion
care.
to adjourn and all that stuff.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Making a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Seconded.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
BJ.
Good night.
Aye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
All right, you guys are off the air.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Okay.
You notice I didn't say anything.
What's that?
You notice I didn't talk much.
Oh, well,
I didn't want, I just didn't want to talk much.
it worked.
I knew everybody can hear me out there in TV land.
They were all saying, that guy sounds like Santa. I don't know.
No, it's going to go.
There's something creepy going on. There's a tree behind him, and he sounds like Santa. I don't know. I'm a little suspicious.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Joe a call and talk to him.
Okay.
That's the first thing. The second thing, I think that we should get Santa down there and see what's safer for him to do as far as ability.
See, I'm not even sure how the top of that apparatus looks. It's a pumper, it's an engine.
Right.
So
maybe you and I might want to go down there and see what's what and schedule something and meet and say, yeah, okay, this is going to work. And then I can let Joe know, go down there and see if this is going to work for you.
Sounds good.
So
it works for me.
Okay. All right.
Very good.
Hey,
All right.
Jim.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
What's that?
Jimmy has a tiny head.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
I gotta go check my smoker.
I'm finishing my tube steaks.
Good for you. At least you're ahead of me.
I gotta try to shut this thing off now.
Yeah, just X out of the window. Then we'll do it.
All right, X.
Oh, there's Jimmy.
There's Jimmy.